Hi everyone, I'm Sergio. I've lived in Florida all my life. I currently grow mangoes out in Loxahatchee. It's been about 6-7 years, maybe even longer, closer to 10 if you include helping my dad. Yeah, the ones that do really well for me out in Loxahatchee where I grow, Carrie, I'm trying to go in order to make it a little bit easier. Carrie does really well for me, but I do have some mango bacterial black spot issues earlier on in the season. That one got hit very minimal. Floragon does really well for me, so much so that sometimes it'll break branches. I've noticed fungal pathogens on the bark, but I haven't seen anything that really affects the fruit or the fruiting. I grow Venus and Hatcher, and they both seem to do really well out there. It's funny because my Venus is only about 3 feet tall. I stunted it, I dwarfed it by trying to fruit it in a 3-gallon, and so it does really well for a little 3-gallon, produces substantial size fruit like this, and they stay clean, very clean. So much so that the squirrels and the raccoons, something just constantly attacks it. But it does really well even for that tree. Fruit punch is a really popular one that I know people want to know about. That does really well, although I did have one tree that did get affected on 1 or 2 fruit with mango bacterial black spot and splitting as well. Lemon meringue's another one that gets hit or miss on half the fruit. So I might try to start spraying copper fungicides soon. I'm trying to get a little bit better disciplined with that. What else? Cogswall's another one. It does well, it produces really well. The fruit are not always clean, and sometimes about 10 to 15, at least this year, it seemed like 10 to 15% of the fruit got hit with mango bacterial black spot as well. But it was still a really big crop for a Cogswall. I know some people aren't really sure about that one growing out in Loxahatchee, but it did really well. Flavor was great. Sweet tart, the fruits stay for the most part clean. Maybe 1 or 2 I got this year that got hit with mango bacterial black spot, surprisingly. But the tree is super vigorous and very productive. One that I know got really hit bad this year was Kit. Kit, I want to say 40 to 65% of the fruit was completely wiped out in the beginning of the season with mango bacterial black spot. It would get it looks like a shoulder burn. It's like a brown spot at the top, and then they would split and just completely fall down from the tree. So that's one to watch out for. There's still some fruit that is holding, and it seems to be holding clean. So it might just be some branches that need to be sprayed, or that are getting more affected than others. Super Julies did really well. For the most part, the fruit were clean, very productive out there. There was some scab on the mangoes, like a brown scabbing, but the fruit were still really good. Edgar seems to do really well out there as well. The fruit stayed clean. I have only 1 branch, and it's always productive, at least for the past couple of years that I've had it. What else? Kesar does really well. The fruit stayed clean. Flavor was phenomenal. Yeah, that's one that really I would probably get out there as well. If you're trying to stay in the Indian, Sampari did well for me, but I did have 1 branch that got affected with mango bacterial black spot. it still did really well and produced substantial fruit. I had one branch that was just less than a year grafted, and it produced almost a 3-pound fruit. I can't really give a fair assessment on Orange, Sherbert, Edward, or Terrelay, because in the spots that I have them, I think there might be some sort of pathogen or something in the soil keeping them from producing regularly or even growing. I'm having troubles with those, so I'm not going to include those just yet. I'll have to do that at a later time. The Phoenix that I have did really well. Phoenix does well, but I do run into powdery mildew when it's flowering time. I have a lot of those that I mentioned that struggled with powdery mildew, but the ones that I didn't mention, most of them flowered this year, so it varies from year to year as well. Cotton Candy does really well as well. I have some issue, I don't know if it's the tree itself, with dieback. Part of the tree is doing really well and the other part's not. For the most part, the fruit stayed clean. I did have some dry cracks out in Loxahatchee, but for the most part, they still stayed really well and tasted really good. So I did mention Venus and Sweet Tart. I do have Kathy recently planted. I'm guessing it'll do really well. There's some that I'm growing that have yet to fruit. Super Alfonso, Angie, that I hear will do really well with disease resistance. I'm gonna try to push it with lemon zest. I know that one's really prone with mango bacterial black spot. So I have Juicy Peach that's a recent planting, Peach Cobbler, Apricot, and Ryan. So I'm hoping all of those do really well with disease resistance too. I can't think of any that I know that are prone to mango bacterial black spot or any pathogens. One that I almost forgot to mention that's just phenomenal, like Floragon, is Duncan this year. Clean fruit, bumper crop. I mean, they hang in clusters. That's one that's just a massive producer. I had Alex mention that one to me years ago, but when I first got into mangoes, because he used to own a farm out in Loxahatchee, and he said that one always produced for him. And Maha Chinook was another one that always produced really well for him. And he said Neelam was another good one. Hope that really helps with some mango growers trying to grow in harder climates. So have a good one. Thank you.